and the commissioner of the NFL, getting set for a 12th NFL draft as commissioner, Roger Goodell. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too. It's always fun.
Were you aware that it's your dozenth?
I did.
I don't know if you keep track of those
I did not keep track of that one, but it is one of my favorite events, though, Rich. I was telling the players this morning, for me to be a part of the moment when you find out which team you're going to play for, when your dreams have all come true, that's a great privilege and one of my favorite moments as commissioner.
And now this is the biggest draft haul ever. I mean, inside.
Yes,
obviously. Last
quite
year,
a haul.
Last year we had Ben Franklin Parkway all the way leading up to the steps,
right.
The Rocky Steps. Coming here to Texas is and inside a stadium. Should we get used to a stadium site for the draft in your mind?
Well, we have 5 final bidders for the next 2 drafts, and we just saw some of those last week, and I think there's a lot of different alternatives there. Mm-hmm. I think there probably will be a couple of those that will have stadium. But I also would tell you that they change every year because they see what happened the year before, and they change. In fact, I think we moved from the Star into AT&T Stadium last year after Philadelphia because they realized this could be so much bigger than they even envisioned.
So is that the way this is going to go from now on, Super Bowl-like bidding for the NFL draft? Is that the way?
It's already turned that way, Rich. I mean, there's over 20 cities that are interested, several that are here tonight. They all want to have part of this event because it has great economic impact, but it's also just such a great event to bring people together and show off a city. So this is great for the Dallas community to show off this wonderful community.
And I guess just lingering one more on the subject, is it going to be once in a spot and then always another spot the next year, or could there be a possibility like Chicago where you get it twice?
It's possible, Rich, but when you have 20 different cities, you want to share the wealth.
Sure.
And so we want to give everyone an opportunity. There's also been a lot of focus on can we get to some cities that won't have the opportunity to host a Super Bowl. So this is a great way for them to get a huge national event of the National Football League. And so that's something else we're looking at.
Schedule came out before we got here to the Metroplex. Why did the league choose Atlanta at Philadelphia? Obviously, the Philadelphia part we all know why there, but what was the decision-making behind that part of the schedule?
I think it's just the way the schedule fell out. We think Atlanta-Philly is a great game. It was one of the great playoff games we had this year, and I think it's a great matchup for us to start the season. So for us, we're really excited. We think it's one of the great matchups of the season.
And what's your role in the schedule?
Well, Howard tries to keep me out of the role, but
right.
But I think you want to look to make sure we're doing all the things necessary to think about the competitive issues, understand how we're dealing with our partners, how we're looking at the fan aspect of anything we're doing with our scheduling. We were very focused on a number of things and initiatives like earlier kickoff times, which we hear a lot from our fans on the East Coast, that they'd like to see earlier kickoff times. And I think that kind of thing is something we put a great deal of focus on, but it's a really complex, sophisticated process which our team does a great job with a bunch of computers.
All right, let's talk about some rule changes. The catch rule, do you think you finally got it right? Do you think you've got it nailed down?
I do. We had a unanimous vote on it by all the clubs, the competition committee, and several other meetings that I was involved with also. I think we went back and looked at the basics. What do we want to be a catch in the league? And we designed really reformatted the rule from the beginning to make sure that we made those catches by rule. So I do believe we're going to get to the right place this year.
What about the idea that there may be more fumbles now because of it? That what would constitute a catch now would constitute, or an incompletion now constitutes a fumble?
That may be possible, Rich, but it would be a very limited numbers, and I'm not sure that's bad. That's part of the game. I think the reality is I think fans want more catches. If you don't retain the ball and you fumble it, that's part of the game, but people understand that.
And then towards the end of the annual meeting in March, the rule that came out that was announced about if a foul would occur if a player lowers his head to initiate and make contact with his helmet against any opponent. Many players were upset just about hearing that over the concept that there could be a flag on a runner trying to score a touchdown, or a quarterback sneak, or a great run gets called back because an offensive lineman is called for that sort of contact. Richard Sherman thinks that there might be more knee injuries and lower extremity injuries because of it. How do you respond?
I respond that I think, that this was something that's been studied for a long time by our competition committee, by others. in the league by coaches. Again, the coaches unanimously approve this. Their view is that this isn't a play that should be in the game, that it's a dangerous act. It's not coached. It should not be part of our game. It doesn't change the game other than the safety of our players. So I've encouraged everyone to let's wait and see and make sure it's explained to you rather than hearing one sentence about what the rule is. And let us make sure we show you tape, make sure we explain what we're trying to accomplish. And I think the coaches will do a great job in that.
Is there going to be more of an announcement at the May meeting as well on this, or the
there
league
may be?
already?
We have a meeting next week, Rich, where there's going to be a great deal of discussion. We have several coaches and others coming in to talk about how we're going to coach it, how we're going to teach it, so that we're talking the same language and make sure that we're doing this consistently. And of course, our officials. We want our officials, obviously, to be able to officiate it consistently.
So we're in a draft set in an end zone. By the way, I still can't get used to it. We've broken the plane with our set here, and obviously the spot of many a touchback. Are kickoffs an endangered species in the NFL, Commissioner?
Well, we see that there's a higher incident of injuries on that play. So we've tried to look at this and sort of, what is it we can do to make it a safer play, but also improve the excitement of it? And there's actually been some creative thinking that we're going to discuss again next week, and several different concepts that special teams coaches and other coaches. We even have one from a well-known college coach that came up with concepts that are alternatives, but really exciting plays.
How is your relationship with Jerry Jones now that we're in his house?
Great. I was with him yesterday, and that's not an issue for me, and I don't think it's an issue for him.
Okay,
So.
and we're in his house tonight, right here. And,
Right.
And there'll be, how many people are you expecting to be here in this?
Well, we have, they just told me as I arrived, over 420,000 have now registered to come and attend over the 3 days. That will be hard for us to manage, but it depends how long fans stay and go. But we think we're going to get pretty close to that number. I think tonight we'll probably have well over 100,000.
Oh, man, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then tonight there is a pick announced by a fellow named Austin from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for running the 40 this year.
It was my pleasure to support you.
So, and I appreciate that. Now that really was a 40-yard expanse in the hallway. I mean, I don't.
Hey, Rich, if you want to get out on the field, let's go.
It is 30 yards exactly.
There's
from
40
here.
yards on the other side.
I don't know. Look, gee, I think you've got some place to be, and we've got something going on later on called the NFL Draft on here and Fox. Appreciate the time as
Good
always,
to be with you.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
You
Yep.
bet.